They say every city has a story that refuses to die. A whispered warning, an unproven rumor, a tale that survives because people insist it happened to a friend of a friend. In my city, the story everyone tells, the one people swear is true, is about a woman who appears in the apartment hallways at exactly 3 a.m. No one knows where the legend started, but they all agree on one thing. If you ever see her, don't look directly at her face, and for God's sake, don't open your door. Most people laugh when they hear it. I did too. Until the night I realized urban legends don't just come from nowhere. Sometimes they're based on something, sometimes on someone, and sometimes on something waiting. I had just moved into the Hawthorne Apartments, a quiet, old building downtown with squeaky elevators and a long carpeted hallway that smelled faintly of lemon cleaner. The place was cheap, old, and had weirdly thin walls, but I didn't mind. I worked late shifts at a hospital and I just needed somewhere to sleep. My first night in the building, I already had trouble adjusting. Old pipes groaned, the heater clicked every hour, random footsteps echoed above me. The kind of sounds you'd expect from a building built in the 70s. But then, at 3:03 a.m., I woke up to the sound I couldn't explain. A single, slow knock. Not on my door, but somewhere down the hallway. 3 long seconds, another knock. And then, nothing. I tried to convince myself it was a neighbor coming home late. People get locked out, people forget their keys, that's normal. But something about the timing stuck with me. 3:03 a.m. Like the sound deliberately waited until the minute I looked at the clock. Eventually, I fell asleep again. But that sound, it lingered. The next night, I wasn't surprised when I woke up again at 3:03 a.m. This time, I heard footsteps. Slow, dragging footsteps. Not hurried, not panicked, just there. Walking down the carpeted hallway outside my door. Shh, shh, shh. The steps stopped right in front of my apartment. Then the knocking started. Soft, rhythmic, patient. I froze in my bed. Don't move. Don't breathe. Don't make a sound. After a minute of silence, curiosity got the better of me. I slipped out of bed, grabbed my phone, and tiptoed toward the peephole. But something stopped me. A voice, soft, breathy, whispering my name. I know you're awake. My entire body locked up. I didn't recognize the voice. It wasn't anyone I knew in the building. And the tone, it was wrong. Too calm, too sure. The knock returned. 3 soft taps, then nothing. After a long silence, I pressed my eye to the peephole and saw no one. The hallway was empty. I stood there shaking nearly for half an hour before crawling back into bed. I didn't sleep until sunrise. The next morning, I brought it up to my neighbor, an older woman named Mrs. Talbot, who lived 2 doors down. She froze. You didn't open the door, did you? She asked. No, of course not. She let out a breath, relieved. Then she told me the story. 3 years earlier, a woman went missing from the building. She was last seen wandering the hallways at the night wearing a long, white hospital gown. Residents said she knocked on doors asking for help, claiming someone was chasing her. No one ever opened the door. No one ever saw her face. Security cameras caught a grainy image of her standing completely still in the hallway at 3:03. The next day, she vanished. Police assumed she harmed herself or left the building unnoticed. Her family filed a missing person report, but nothing ever came out of it. And then the sightings began. Every few months, someone in the building would swear they saw a woman in a white gown walking the hallways at exactly 3 a.m. No face, just long, tangled hair covering it, standing motionless, knocking softly. People move out because of her, Mrs. Talbot whispered, especially when she stops at their door. I tried to act unimpressed. It was probably someone drunk, I said. Maybe, she said. But the ones who looked directly at her face never stayed here long. One jumped from the 5th floor, another disappeared, and the third, she paused. He opened the door. She didn't tell me what happened to him. She didn't need to. Her silence said enough. I went to bed early that night. Door locked, chain latched, furniture pushed against it just for good measure. I told myself it was nothing, just my brain playing tricks. But deep down, I already knew what was going to happen. At 3:03 a.m., I woke up to the sound of my door handle gently turning. Click, 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 as if someone was testing it. Then came the knocking. Soft, polite, patient. I stayed perfectly still until the knocking stopped. 5 full minutes passed in complete silence, then something happened that turned my blood to ice. She crouched. I heard it. The shift of weight, the soft creak of an old carpet. She crouched down right in front of the door and whispered under the gap, "Please, let me in." Her voice had changed, trembling, desperate, terrified. I shut my eyes tight. "Help me," she whispered again, voice cracking. "Please, he's coming." Her breath hit the bottom of the door, warm and shaking. It sounded so real, so human, but I remembered Mrs. Talbot's warning, "Don't open the door." Another whisper followed, but this one was different. Deeper, lower, not human. "Let her in." My entire apartment went ice cold. I backed away slowly, heart pounding, so hard I could hear it echo in my ears. Then, suddenly, the knocking stopped, but I could feel her still there, waiting. And then, a shadow passed under my door. Something wrong, warped, too many parts moving at once. Whatever was crouched on the other side was no longer human. The next morning, I went straight to the building superintendent and demanded to see the hallway footage. He resisted at first, but when I told him I might call the police, he relented. He pulled up the footage at 3 a.m. There she was, a thin figure in a long white gown standing motionless at the far end of the hallway, hair covering her face completely. She didn't walk, she didn't turn, she just appeared at each camera frame closer to my door. 1 second she was 12 feet away, then 6, then 3. Then directly in front of my door, head down, hair dangling like wet string, and then she crouched. The camera flickered violently, static ripping across the screen. When the image returned, she was gone. The superintendent slowly removed his glasses. "I've worked here 12 years, he whispered. "I've seen that thing a dozen times, and still don't know what she wants." I left his office shaking, but I wasn't done yet. I needed to see the live feed myself. That night before bed, I left a small piece of tape over the peephole, a trick my father taught me. It lets you see if someone covers the peephole from the other side, just in case. I didn't fall asleep till after midnight. I woke up again at 3:03 a.m. Not because of knocking, not because of footsteps, but because the hallway light went out. Every single one. My apartment went dark except the faint glow of my phone charger. But from the pitch black hallway outside my door, I heard breathing. Slow, deep, steady, but not human breathing. This sounded wrong, like lungs filled with water, like someone trying to inhale through something blocked. Then came the whisper, "You saw me." My blood went cold. "You looked at me," the voice said, right at the bottom edge of the door. "Now I want to see you." I reached for my phone, hands trembling. I opened the live camera feed from the hallway. The screen was static, then slowly an image formed. A face pressed against my door's peephole. Not a woman's face, something stretched, distorted, as if too big for the skull beneath it. Its mouth was wrong, too wide, too long, extending beyond where a human's jaw could go. Teeth like broken glass, eyes like empty holes. The thing stood perfectly still and framed, then it moved, not backwards, but sideways. Its neck stretched unnaturally as it slid past the lens, like a puppet on a string being yanked out of view. Then, silence. I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. I packed my things before the sun rose, but before I left, I checked the hallway through the peephole one last time. The tape I put over it the night before was gone. Someone had peeled it off. That was enough for me. I slammed the door behind me, locked it, dragged my suitcase down the hallway. Without looking back, I didn't breathe again until I reached the street. I moved out later that day. I didn't go back for my security deposit. I didn't even answer calls from the manager. Whatever was in that building had seen me, and I was terrified that if I stayed, it might want to see me again. Most people don't believe my story, but they believe the rumor, because even today, newcomers in the Hawthorne apartments say they hear knocking at their door around 3 a.m., and every once in a while, someone claims they saw a thin woman in a white gown standing motionless in the hallway, hair covering her face. But if you listen closely to the people who live there the longest, they'll tell you something else. The woman isn't the dangerous one, she's the lure. Something else moves behind her. Something that wants you to open the door. Something that whispers, "Let her in." And if you ever hear that voice, don't look, don't speak. Whatever you do, don't open the door. Ever.